You've shared some really interesting stuff with us before. And today, let's dig into something that I think can really change how you feel when you're dealing with financial hiccups. We've got material here from, I think it was a podcast episode, all about the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the CFPB.
The CFPB.
And specifically, how you actually file a complaint with them. So the goal for this deep dive is really just to pull out the essential stuff, the actionable info you need to understand this tool.
Yeah.
And maybe use it if you ever feel like a financial company's, not treating you fairly. It's about knowing your options, really.
Absolutely. It's empowering. I mean, the financial world can feel pretty overwhelming sometimes. And the CFPB is designed to be like a counterbalance, a way for your voice to actually be heard. So yeah, understanding how it works, how to engage with it, that's a big step towards feeling more in control. Okay, so the CFPB. Sounds official, sounds important, but what is it exactly? Give us the quick rundown. Sure. So think back to the lead up to the 2008 financial crisis.
Oh, yeah. Vaguely terrifying times.
Right. Well, there were huge issues then. Things like predatory mortgage lending, pushing loans people just couldn't afford. The CFPB was basically created in response to that mess.
Wow.
It's a U.S. government agency, and its whole job is protecting consumers, regular people from unfair, deceptive, or abusive practices in the financial world.
So making sure companies play fair.
Exactly. That's the core mission.
Okay, so when you say financial companies, who are we actually talking about? Who falls under their watch?
It's pretty broad, actually. If a company is handling your money or giving you financial services, chances are the CFPB covers them.
Like my bank.
Your bank, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Also, the credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, TransUnion.
Right. The ones with the credit reports.
And mortgage companies, payday lenders.
The short-term loan places.
Yep. Loan servicers, the companies that actually collect your loan payments, and of course, all the credit card companies. It's a wide net.
Wow. Okay. So for someone listening, when should they actually think, okay, maybe I should file a CFPB complaint? What are the sort of red flags?
That's a really key question. The CFPB is there for when you genuinely feel a company's acted unfairly. One really common thing is fees.
Fees, like hidden ones.
Yeah, or fees you weren't clearly told about, or ones that just seem totally out of line, Unjustified, that's a big one.
Okay, unfair fees. Got it. What else?
Another major reason is, if you've tried to fix the problem yourself, you've called the company, maybe sent emails.
And you're getting nowhere.
Exactly. They're just not responding, or they're being completely unhelpful. If you feel like you're hitting a brick wall, basically, that's a really good time to think about the CFPB. We hear that a lot. People felt ignored until the CFPB stepped in.
Right, add some weight.
Yeah.
What about mistakes on your credit report? That feels like a big deal.
Oh, absolutely. Errors on your credit report can seriously mess things up. Loans, renting, even sometimes getting a job. So if you've already disputed the errors with the credit bureau itself, gone through their process, and they still haven't fixed it, the CFPB is a very, very good next step.
Okay. And debt collectors. Nobody likes dealing with aggressive collectors.
No, definitely not. And the CFPB handles that too. There are rules, laws about how debt collectors can act, when they can call, how often.
Things they can and can't say.
Right. So if you're being harassed, or if you think they're breaking those rules, that's another clear reason to file a complaint.
Now, the source material also mentioned this idea of just a feeling, like something isn't right, even if you can't point to a specific broken rule. Is that enough?
Well, look, having specific details is always better, right?
Sure.
But yeah, sometimes that gut feeling is pointing to something dodgy. If an interaction felt misleading or deceptive or just off, filing lets the CFPB look into it. The key is just being as clear as you can about what happened and why it felt wrong, even without the legal jargon. The more info you give, the better they can figure it out.
So the main idea seems to be try the company first, make a real effort.
Yes.
But if that fails, then the CFPB is your next stop. It's an escalation point.
Exactly. Think of it as like formally raising the issue with an authority figure who can help make sure it gets taken seriously.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
So, all right, you've decided, yes, I need to file. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. How do you actually do it? Walk us through the steps.
Okay, so the process is actually designed to be pretty user-friendly. First up, according to the source, is just go to their website.
The CFPB website.
Right. The address is consumerfinance.gov complaint.
Consumerfinance.gov complaint. Got it.
Yep. And once you're there, you'll see an option pretty clearly marked, something like start a new complaint.
Right.
Click that.
Starting the complaint.
That kicks off the online form, and the first thing it asks is about the product or service.
So like credit card or mortgage.
Exactly. You pick the category that fits your issue. Credit reporting, checking account, loan, whatever it is, helps them route it correctly.
Right. And after you pick the category, then comes the story, I guess.
Pretty much. This is where you explain what happened. And like we said, be honest, be specific, be clear.
Dates, names.
All of it. Dates it happened, names of people you spoke to, a clear story of what went down and why you think it was unfair or, wrong. Think like you're explaining it to someone totally fresh. Details help.
And documents.
Yep.
The source mentioned supporting documents. What kind of things help?
Oh, anything that backs up your story. Account statements showing the weird fee, maybe.
Okay.
Emails you sent back and forth with the company, the original contract maybe, screenshots, even notes you took during calls.
Right. Proof.
Exactly. The more evidence, the stronger your complaint usually is.
Okay, so you filled it all out, upload your documents. What's the final step? Just hit submit.
Basically, yeah. Review it, make sure it's accurate, and then submit it electronically right there on the website. Pretty straightforward.
And then what? Does it just go into a black hole?
Once you submit, the CFPB takes it and forwards it directly to the financial company you complained about.
Ah, okay. And is there a timeline? Like, when should you expect to hear something?
Well, the CFPB expects companies to respond within 15 days.
15 days? That's pretty quick.
It is. Now, that doesn't always mean it's fully resolved in 15 days, but you should get an initial response from the company saying, we got it, we're looking into it, or maybe their side of the story.
Okay, so at least an acknowledgement. And can you, track it, see what's happening?
Yes, usually. You should get email updates from the CFPB about the status, and you can typically log back into the portal on their website to check for updates or see the company's response.
Good. Transparency.
Yeah, that helps.
So, okay, complaint filed, company responds, hopefully within 15 days. What kind of outcomes usually happen? Does this actually work?
In a lot of cases, yeah, it really does lead to a resolution. Like the source mentioned, companies know a government agency is watching now.
Right, there's oversight.
Exactly. So they often have a pretty strong incentive to respond quickly and actually try to fix the problem.
So what does fixing it look like? What might actually happen for the person who complained?
Well, it depends on the issue, obviously. But you might get, say, incorrect charges reversed.
Nice.
Or get a refund for fees they shouldn't have charged. Or get that wrong info fixed on your credit report. At the very least, you should get a clear, official explanation from the company about their side of things.
Okay, but what if?
Yeah.
What if the company responds, but you still think they're wrong? Or what if they just dig their heels in? Does the CFPB do more?
So the CFPB isn't like a court, right? They can't always force a company to do a specific thing in your one case.
Okay.
But their involvement still matters. They track all these complaints, how companies respond, what the outcomes are, if they see a pattern. Like one company keeps getting complaints about the same shady practice and isn't fixing it.
Then they notice.
Exactly. Then the CFPB can take bigger actions, supervisory actions, investigations, even enforcement actions against that company that affect way more people.
So even if my specific problem doesn't get fixed exactly how I want, filing the complaint still helps build that bigger picture for the CFPB.
Precisely. And that brings us to a really important point, actually. Why filing your complaint matters beyond just you.
Right. The bigger impact.
Yeah. When you file, you're giving the CFPB valuable data. They take all those thousands of complaints they get.
And look for patterns.
Exactly. They aggregate it, analyze it. It helps them spot trends, identify widespread problems, and zero in on companies that are, repeat offenders.
Ah, I see. So my one complaint about, say, a weird fee added to hundreds of others about the same fee from the same company.
Tells the CFPB there's likely a systemic issue there that needs a closer look. Maybe new rules, maybe enforcement. It helps them protect everyone.
So it's kind of like your individual experience becomes a piece of intel for the regulator.
That's a great way to put it. Your complaint helps them see the forest for the trees, basically. It signals that something needs attention.
So filing isn't just selfish in a way. It's almost like a small act of civic duty for a fairer financial system.
That's a really insightful way to think about it, yeah. You're using your experience to help the system that's supposed to protect everyone. Your voice contributes.
Okay. Let's wrap this up then. The main takeaway, the core message for everyone listening, seems pretty clear. If you think a financial company treated you unfairly,
don't just fume about it.
Right. You have a real, potentially powerful tool you can use. file that complaint with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau.
Absolutely. It's about knowing you have options, knowing you have recourse when things go wrong. The CFPB is meant to be that avenue for now.
So maybe just think about this. Have you ever had one of those experiences with a bank or a lender that just left you feeling kind of frustrated, maybe powerless?
Well, maybe knowing about the CFPB, knowing this process exists, can shift that feeling a bit. It's a reminder that you do have options, and your voice, channeled the right way, really can make a difference, not just for you, but maybe for creating a fairer system overall.
If this podcast helped you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps us keep making these videos. Thanks for watching.